Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom.
It's my pleasure now to invite Michael Zimmerman to come forward. He's going to lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles. And if you would like to also light Shabbat candles, we have a table over here. Please join us if it is your tradition to do so. And we are on page 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
I'm just going to put this on because. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Bottom of 4. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lemase v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh zecher letziad mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodechecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Mazel tov. Thank you.
The opening reading that I want to share with you is not in our slides nor in our book. It is a blessing that I wanted you to just hear, to just listen, because it's called A Blessing for Presence by John O'Donohue. May you awaken to the mystery of being here, and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. May you receive great encouragement when new frontiers beckon. May you respond to the call of your gift and find the courage to follow its path. May the flame of anger free you from falsity. May warmth of hate of your heart keep your presence aflame and anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of your soul. May you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. May you be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. We continue with the Baruch Hu, which is our call to worship, can be found on page 28. We rise in body or in spirit.
My head is not thinking of the tune all of a sudden. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Page 31, Mariv Aravim. We give thanks for the morning, and then we give thanks for the evening together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. The Shema, page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha Bedibata bam, beshivdecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayuletotafot beinenecha, Uchtavtam amezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Michamocha is found on page 40. It's our song of freedom. Freedom comes in so many different ways for the Israelites. It was release from slavery. For those of you still in school, it's going to come, if it already hasn't, with the release of the school year and summer. I couldn't resist. For others, it comes when we do our part to ensure that all have the opportunities that we may have had. So we define freedom in so many different ways, but we know our obligation is to make the world a better place. We sing together, page 40.
When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha
Page 42. Hashkivenu is our evening lullaby. It is, most importantly, a song of protection. It's a song asking God to keep us safe, to provide for each of us a Sukkot Shalom. For each of us, that Sukkot Shalom, that shelter of peace, is different. It may be a physical shelter, it may be a spiritual shelter, it may be a place, a spiritual place to return to when we need it the most. And that is why Hashkivenu has remained such an important prayer, such a connected prayer for all of us for so many, many years. We sing together.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We turned from asking for Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, to giving thanks that we have this time for reflection and renewal, Shabbat. On page 44, Vishamru, we sing together.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, Adonai, et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam.
We continue with the Amidah, or the Tefillah, which is on page 46, which kind of, this is not a prayer. It recenters us. And then on 48 with the Avot V'Imahot, on page 50, with the Givurot, and 52 with the Kiddusha, sanctification of the day. We're going to chant these prayers straight through, and this is called the Tefillah, or standing prayer. They are interchangeable names. Please rise in body or spirit.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshiach Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishene afar, micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umidom elach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We have often noted that in Judaism, our ancient rabbis and going forward have worked very hard to remind us of the importance of being grateful. So that when we first wake up in the morning, we are to say modeh or modah for male or female, modeh or modah, ani lefanecha, how grateful I am. And then in every service during the day, we say another prayer for gratitude. And I have said before, you've heard me say this, because we tend to be oi Jews instead of joy Jews. We like to kvetch rather than kvel. We like to complain rather than to offer things that are good. And our ancient rabbis seem to know something about psychology before there was even the study of psychology, and they programmed it into our daily ritual, our daily being. And so this next prayer, there's a reading that of modim, of giving gratitude. And so something we haven't done in a very long time is to ask each of you, it seems since we're outside for the first time, to share something you are grateful for. If you'd like to just share it out loud in this time, or at home in the chat, anything you are grateful for. Your family, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Health. Being alive. Spring and summer and no snow. Thank you. Move around. Okay. The support of your family during a difficult time. Bring it Pride tomorrow. Come join us. What? Friends, family, and our community. Thank you, Jacob. We don't often get to see Jacob, right? He's always in the back. I'm grateful for Jacob.
Me too.
Mackenzie. Having access to therapy when needed. It's like a mic drop right there. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah. Lori. For your 3 beautiful granddaughters.
I'm grateful for all the smiles that I'm seeing tonight. That just fills my heart when I see all this. It's kind of cool from up here.
For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for the blessings we ask of you, God, and those we cannot ask, for the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize, for the blessings you bestow upon us in the open and those you give in secret. We are grateful to you. For all these blessings, eternal God of the universe, we thank you and we are grateful to you. For the blessings of our traditions, for the blessings of our creativity, for the blessings of return and forgiveness, for the blessing of memory and of hope, for all these blessings, eternal God of the universe, we thank you and we are grateful to you. Amen. We turn to page 60 and sing Shalom Rav together.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adam lechol hashalom. Lechol hashalom, shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech Amcha Yisrael Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam.
We have so many blessings and things to be grateful for, and we also know that there are a lot of things that we worry about, a lot of things that are not so okay. And when we think about that, we also connect to our prayer for healing. Our prayer for healing recognizes that there are many in our community who are in need of healing, whether it be a healing of body or a healing of spirit, a healing from mental illness, a healing from life's struggles. And so as my hand passes over our community on this Shabbat, I invite you to share aloud the names of loved ones who are struggling. And I hope at home you'll share in the chat as well. We join together in healing song.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal us say, Amen.
We take a few moments for silent prayer and reflection.
Yihul ratzon nimre fi. Yihul ratzon nimre fi. V'hagyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri v'goali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru. Amen.
Tonight, can you hear me? Yes. So tonight we are going to have a text study, which means I need you to talk to me when I ask a question. And I know this group, so I believe that that is going to be possible. This text study is an introduction to Pride Month. So Pride Month started yesterday. I believe yesterday was June 1st. I really don't know what's going on. So why is Pride Month important? So some may say, well, Pride Month is for the LGBTQ plus community. It is, but Pride Month is also for all of us. So why would Pride Month be for those who are cisgender, heterosexual, and not just for the LGBTQ community? Does anybody want to answer that besides me? Walter. Do we not have enough? Love, commitment, and what? Understanding without restriction. That's beautiful. Thank you, Walter. Anyone else want to? Oh, you turned it up. Thank you. Anyone else? Talisman? I could do it. Intersectionality and supporting each other in very important ways. Thank you. Anyone else? So to me, when I think of pride, I think of Niemöller, the poem. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, that when they came for the soldiers, no one was there. When they came for the Christians, right? Does anybody remember that poem? What poem am I talking about? What? Mm-hmm.
next guy, I didn't speak up because that wasn't me either. And when they came for me, there was no one left to speak up for me.
Right. We have to speak up for everyone, because if we don't, then there's going to be no one left to speak up for us. So when we speak up for others, then we ally, and then we can speak up, then they'll speak up for us. So part of pride is being an ally as well. So how is that connected to what I'm going to talk about? You have a sheet in front of you, and we're going to talk about how some of this is, and there's some interesting Jewish connections. So my first question, I should have had Deb hold on, because pedagogically you're all looking at the sheet and not listening to me. Bad teacher moment. So I need you to raise your hand when you hear this question. I want you to share with me a word, any word that's appropriate, because I know this group. What's the first word that comes to mind when you hear the term boy? What? Girl. Walter? Male. Mackenzie? Ew. What? Dude. Okay, dude. What? Strong. Any other words? Son. Bar mitzvah. The future. Okay. Mackenzie. Dad. Okay. What about man? What's the first couple words? Husband. Father. Brother. Woman. Anything else? Great. Provider. Okay. First word when you hear the word girl. Me, Mackenzie, Mia, what were you going to say? What? What? Female. Strong. Intelligent. Drama. He thinks we're talking about Mia. Susan, what? Maternal. Anything else?
Nurturing.
Nurturing. What about woman? Mother? Educator? I missed a word. What? Caregiver? Leader? Petty? That's fine. I am asking for the first words. It's great. What about when you hear child? Annoying? Annoying? What? Golden? Dependent? Mm-hmm. Favorite? More drama? Okay. Last one, non-binary. What do you think? Open. Beautiful. Person. Strong. Accepting. Whatever they want to be. I love this group. Michael. A person. Just a person. A person named Michael. Oh my God, I was so not on your train. I'm with you now. Okay. Accepting. Hopeful. That's beautiful. Okay. All right. So we've gotten a little warmed up. Now I want to teach you some different pieces of Genesis that are really going to be interesting to you. So much of our understanding, you can sit down, Deb. Oh, thank you. We're going to call you like drama, Jerry Springer drama. I wasn't going to go to Jerry Springer, but that would be fun. Okay. So if I need you, I'll call on you, but you shouldn't have to, you should do dance for us. That'd be fun. Okay. So how well do you think you know the story of creation? Not some of you, maybe. Okay. Believe it or not, there are 2 stories of the creation of humankind. How many of you knew that there were 2 stories of the creation of humankind? Walter, thank you, Walter. No, don't explain it yet. Just raise your hand if you think you know that there are 2 stories, because I want to be the one to blow their minds. I want that rabbi power. So Walter, you and I can talk about it later. Okay. So there are two stories of the creation of humankind, and we're going to look at it very carefully with the 5 minutes we have instead of the hour. Okay. So in Genesis or Bereshit, chapter 1, verses 26 through 28, which you have on the sheet in front of you, it says, let us, that's what it says about God, right? Let us make man, naseh Adam. Adam just means human. It became a name, Adam, in our image after our likeness. They, this Adam, shall rule the fish of the sea, etc., etc. That's their job. All right. Now I'm skipping to the third line. And it says, and God created Adam, the human, in God's image. You've all heard of B'Tselem Elohim. In the image of God, God created them. It says Otam in the Hebrew. So the Hebrew is Vayivra Elohim et Adam B'Tselmo, B'Tselem Elohim bara Oto, created Zachar unkeva bara Otam. God created this Adam, and then God created them. Male and female, God created them. So what's this first human? What does this first human look like? Mackenzie? You don't know, right? This first human is Zachar unkeva, male and female, God created them. This is the creation of the first human. Genesis chapter 1. Interesting, right? Amazing. Did you ever know this? The second creation of human is what we know. We're going to get to that in a minute. But this, Genesis chapter 1, 26 through 28, is the first creation of humankind. Male and female, God created them. And it's where we get our understanding of B'Tselem Elohim, because it says, B'Tselem Elohim bara oto. So when we talk about being B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God, it comes directly from this verse. Any questions, or do you need to ponder that for a moment? Struggling. Yes? Who's struggling? It's okay to struggle. Alan's struggling. Do you want to ask a question? Okay. Yes. So God is in the plural, and that's very weird, right? Yeah, what's going on there? So I was hoping to avoid that theology. Thank you. I'm just kidding. So not only do we have this section, these two verses could be a multi-week class. Just these two verses. Week class. Because not only do we have this concept of this male, female, Zachar unkeva, one human in the plural. We also have the first time we're introduced to God as God being Elohim. It says, Vayomer Elohim. In the Hebrew here, it's Elohim because it was being taught by someone who might not have had a minion, and so they use the kuf. So God is in Kidmotenu, God in our likeness. So we don't know. We don't know why God is in the plural in this text, where God is in the singular everywhere else. And there are so many attempts to figure this out. There are a lot of places where we have experiences of God in the plural. So our Michamocha prayer that we sing is God in the plural. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you among the gods. Right? So there are two different explanations I can give you quickly, unless you want to be here till it gets dark, which nobody does because none of us have had dinner. So one is a really interesting philosophy based on history, which is most people of ancient times were pagan. And to jump from being pagan, from being multi-theistic to immediately monotheistic, that's a hard jump. So what likely happened is something called monolatry. Monolatry is when you start to believe one God above all other gods. You recognize that maybe there are some other gods, but your God's the best. So that there was this kind of slow grow of monotheism. So that's a historical view. The spiritual theological view is the Midrashim, these wonderful stories in Midrash and Mishnah and Talmud, that God didn't like being alone. These are these great stories, right? God didn't like being alone. So God was hanging out in, up in heaven or wherever with a bunch of angels. What did you say, Karen? Perfect. God was hanging out in Starbucks in heaven with a bunch of angels, right? A bunch of divine messengers, which is how God would communicate with Adam and with Abraham and all these people. And so God was having a conversation with the angels. So God was conversing and asking the angels, hey, do you think we should make humankind? Kidmotenu, after our likeness, should humankind be like God and be like the angels? So there's 2 answers of the million. Maybe I'll teach a class one day. It's good stuff, right? Yeah, Mark. Yes, correct. So these are attempts to answer. So the Talmud, these Midrashim, were attempts to answer this question. That's why I started off with the answer, we don't know, right? We'll never know why it says Kidmotenu in our likeness, right? Eloheinu, we have no idea, right? That's why I gave you 2 totally different answers. We can only try to figure it out, which is why Torah is endless and keeps going, because we keep trying to find the answers, right? So that's a little bit. Any other questions about this idea of male and female? God created them. Yeah, Walter. Correct. So you've introduced another answer, as you're introducing an answer as to why there are 2 stories of creation. So why would we have 2 different stories? Why do we have Genesis 1:26 through 28 and then Genesis 2:18-22? Why couldn't we just have this Adam be Zakar Unkeva? So one of the answers is there was this Lilith, this demon, right, who was a female. In the Talmud, let's just sit there for a moment. Okay, we're done. And Lilith was a demon who would come after and kill all the babies. That's why you wear a red string, right? So another class, right? And so they had to recreate and create 2 people, so one could guard the babies and one could protect the other person. So Lilith is a demoness that was created in Talmudic times, the first demoness. Another text to have on another day. Tracy, we're not even going to get to Genesis 2. I have so many good texts. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So this is the first example of a non-binary person. right? Which we're going to hopefully, if you don't get to, you can take these home and read it, right? We're probably not going to get there. So this is the first example of someone who was Zachar Unkeva, male and female, someone who was both non-binary. Now we're going to move to the example of someone who was binary, of two people, okay? So Walter, I'm not putting you off. Lilith is someone very important, and I kind of specifically ignored her because I wanted to talk about gender and not about gender fluidity and where we go and the different versions of gender in text. Another day we'll talk about Lilith because I have written many, many pages on Lilith. I promise you. Okay, so Genesis 2, 18 to 22, what we have now. So we have this one person. What's going on with this one person? They are alone. And so God says they shouldn't be alone. They should have somebody. They need to find a partner. I will make a fitting helper for them. So what happens? God says, well, let's try to find that for you. So Adam goes around and gives names to all the cattle, it's underlined, all the cattle, the birds, the wild beasts, but it didn't work out. There was no partner there for Adam. So what did God do? The eternal God, now singular, by the way, cast a deep sleep upon the human. And while they, Otam, slept, God took one of their ribs. This sounds more familiar, right? Took one of their ribs, closed up the flesh, and the eternal God fashioned the rib that God had taken from the human into a woman, Nekeva, and God brought her to the human. Then the human said, this one at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called a woman, for from man she was taken. So there we go. Now we finally have a woman. How is this different? Do they contradict or do they complement each other? Why? Okay. So maybe so it feels like this was maybe put in there? Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts? Okay. Right. All of it was it right? Right? But how do we get two different pieces of text about creation? What? God wanted to be a pleaser like everyone else. I love that answer. Thank you, Danielle. Okay. Oh, there's two opinions because we're Jewish. Okay. See, I knew this crowd was going to warm up a little bit. Correct. Yes, there's a lot of interpretation. Svetlana, did I see your hand? Go ahead. I love that. So I don't know if everyone heard, she said, we don't know what is meant by woman. Is it another individual? How does they complement? Did I get that right? Yeah. What is woman to God? Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Let me go on and do one more and then we'll stop. So I want to look at, this is Midrash Bereshit Rabbah. What does that mean? Midrash comes from the word lidrosh, which means to inquire. Whenever we have a text that is confusing or hard or doesn't make sense, we lidrosh, we inquire of the text. There are two different forms of midrashim. One is halacha, Jewish law, and the other is agadah, think Haggadah, which is story-based. So typically when we're having a discussion like this, we're going to bring agadah, we're going to bring stories because they're a lot easier and a lot more fun. And Bereshit Rabbah is about Bereshit. It's a Rabbah just means compendium. So this is a midrash about Bereshit. So this is now, we're moving away a little bit from Genesis. This is about the different types of gender that the rabbis struggled with. Rabbi Jeremiah, the son of Elazar, said, when the Holy One, blessed be God, created the first human, Adam Rishon, created it as androgynos, just as it is written, male and female God created them. Rabbi Samuel, the son of Nachman, said, when the Holy One, blessed be God, created the first human being, God created it with two faces, then split it and made it two backs, a back here and a back there. So what were they trying to figure out? Of what? So yeah. So what is Genesis 1 teaching us? What is it? What could this actually look like? And who is this? How would we describe this type of person? So what this is trying to show us is that there is gender diversity in Judaism. And if you look at source 4, and this is for you to take home, there are 6 different genders in Judaism. Not 2, 6. We've looked at 3. We've looked at Zachar, Nekeva, and androgynous. Male, female, and androgynous. There are 3 more. Tumtum, Ilonit, and Saris. That may be pretty surprising to you. And lest you think that these are random, used once or twice in this text that I provided, it shows you how many times it was referenced in the Mishnah or the Talmud. It's not a few. It's not a few. What happened over time is they kind of got buried. And as we as a society leaned into male and female as the genders, and we as Jews needed to fit in, we buried the 4 other genders. But there are 6 genders accepted within Judaism. So in this Pride Month, I want us to remember that we accept and love all. And that even back in Genesis 1, we were trying to figure out who we were, what we were, and how to embrace everyone. And even God was trying to figure it out. This is really important. This is important research. I want to thank actually Rabbi Nikki DeBlosi, who helped me with this sheet. Rabbi Nikki is a Reform rabbi who is doing cutting edge research on gender and sexual identity in Judaism. So very, very important. So thank you for studying with me. Now you know more than many, many people about Genesis and the creation story. Alan, go ahead. They pretty much erase. I mean, Christianity is such a huge term, so you'd have to be specific about which Christianity and when. But early Christianity, moving into Catholicism, and then I think I'm uncomfortable answering that because it's sure Walter can answer it. Mhm. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. So thank you. We're going to sing. I asked Deb to sing a favorite song, which you may know it does not reside in Judaism. It is True Colors, because we all have our true colors.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness so inside you make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. Now don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there, and I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Thank you, Deb. We return to our Siddur, to our prayer book for the Aleinu, page 283. We rise in body or in spirit. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We continue with our memorial meditation on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. On this Shabbat, we remember those taken most recently from our temple family in Shiva, Mark A. Weinberger, in Shloshim, Sophia Hirschman, Sue Davidson Siegel, James Wolfe Jr., and those taken in years past, Pearl Abrams, Israel Ackerman, May Adelson, Kingsley Myers Anderson, Dorothy Bergman, Alan H. Berkman, Betty G. Braff, Abraham L. Feinberg, Rose Gilbert, Sidney S. Good, Mary Joseph Goulder, Edward N. Grossman, Mildred F. Hollander, Meyer C. Jaffe, Henry Kahn, Stella Schoenberger Klein, Jean Lapine, Morley Lebby, Shepard S. Litt, Morty Litt, Shal Newmark, Ernest Perlmutter, Howard R. Pickus, Stanley Post, Anna Presand, Lois S. Proctor, Louis Rosen, Willie W. Rosenthal, Rudy Charles Shackno, Charles Silbiger, Frida Silbiger, Sally Weinstock, William Weiss, Reuben Wolkoff. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise in body or spirit. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra hirute v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman karim v'imru, amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudshah barechu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, ta'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and give comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to invite Svetlana Pundik to come forward to offer announcements and greetings this Shabbat, a member of our Board of Trustees. You don't have to look at it on your phone. Just saving trees. It's in parentheses. Okay.
Well, thank you, Rabbi Van and Deb Rogers for leading this beautiful service. Okay, there we go, yes. So thank you. Did you hear me? Okay. Thank you to Sarah Stiller and Michael Zimmerman for lighting the Shabbat candles. Tonight, Bima Flowers were sponsored by Dory and Blair Haas in loving memory of Betty Braff. And as always, thank you for our dedicated STCAS staff and leadership. And a few announcements. We continue to petition for the right to reproductive freedom at Shabbat services each week. So tomorrow, Pride in the CLE, you already heard, June 3rd at 11 a.m. We invite everyone to join for the Pride March. All support and love is needed. Information is included in this week Temple's time. Pride Shabbat is next Friday, June 9th, and our featured speaker is Ken Schneck. Just a reminder that we have summer gatherings happening, and there are several high kibbutz and foodies, yoga outdoors, and game night. Information is also in current temple times. And finally, Mazel Tov to Sarah Richards and Ryan Cooper on their upcoming marriage this Sunday. Sarah is the daughter of STK member Amy and Dan Richards. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you so much, Svetlana. And we are going to end with song, Adon Olam, and then our blessing, our benediction, and then Motzi. Yes. Adon Olam is found on page 321.
Adon Olam asher malach beterem kol yetzir nivra le'et nasa bechefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra be'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora behu haya behu hove behu yeh betifara behu echad be'ein sheni lehamshilo lehachbira beli reshit beli tachlit velo haoz v'hamizra vehu eli v'chai goali v'tzorchep li v'yetzara vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi beyom ekra beyado avkid ruchi ve'eti shan be'ayira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira.
Please rise in body or spirit for our benediction.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May God lift up each one of us, and may God bring us shalom, peace, and wholeness. Amen.
Amen.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
B'tei Avon,
Avon,
Shabbat
And
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
There is challah and grape juice on the